And thank you all for taking the time to join us this evening. It's nice to have so many of our faculty and graduates joining us, as well as new faces that we hope to get to know better. So this evening is our virtual open house for the Accessible Media Production Graduate Certificate Program for the Fall 2020, Winter 2021 semester. It's a mouthful. So just a few notes. Tonight we are using Otter AI, and if you'd like to follow along with a live transcript of this session, you can select the link in the chat panel, and this will open up a separate window for you to follow along with. To support the transcript, I'm going to ask you to keep your mics muted unless you're asking a question, or that's probably just it if you're asking a question or a comment, I guess. One of the challenges with the chat is that every time somebody new joins, I need to give them the link. They can only access it from the point that they join. So if you have a question, you can use the reactions to raise your hand or indicate that you have a question in the chat box as well. And we are recording this session, and it will be posted on the Accessible Media Production homepage. So our agenda this evening, we're going to do a quick introductions. We're going to give you an overview of the 2020-2021 AMP program and what we have planned, and in light of COVID-19, how we're going to move forward with the program. An overview of the AMP program, and then I've really saved most of our time for questions and answers. We're very fortunate to have a lot of our faculty and current graduating cohort, and I even have a few alumni here as well. And so we can answer any questions you might have, and you know, it's not a biased opinion from me, you get the students. So just a quick round of introductions. My name is Jennifer Jahnke, and I am the program coordinator. I started the program 4 years ago now. We've had 3 cohorts, so our 2020-2021 class will be the fourth cohort of the program. And I'm very fortunate to be surrounded by industry professionals as our faculty members. And this evening we are joined by Rob Harvey. He is the owner of Inclusive Media and Design, and he is the captioning and description professor. Rob, do you want to say a quick hello?
Hi there. And it's been a long, hard day. So I'm on my boat with my, my associate. Would you like me to speak about myself or just say hi?
You can just say hi for now.
Hi.
And then we're also joined by Leanne Fisher, and she is our diversity and inclusion professor. Leanne, did you want to say a quick hello? She is here, so maybe she'll come on after. And finally, we are joined by our current cohort who are just graduating. On Tuesday, they finished their capstone showcase. And we have a few alumni from the previous years as well. So they're able to answer any questions that you may have. I'm going to sneeze, sorry. Maybe not.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Leanne was talking, but she was muted.
Oh, I didn't see that. I can't see her. Leanne, do you want to try again without the mute? There you are.
Difficult. So that's the first thing to remember. If you're in my class, remind me to unmute. It's lovely to see you all today. I was saying, I like the picture that you had before of me. I look so much younger.
Did you like that one?
Yeah, but that's a different story.
Perfect.
Hi, everyone.
I should probably go back though and just highlight that our other professors are Karen McCall. She is an expert in PDF and document accessibility. Sandy Gowder is the owner of CMS Web Solutions, and she is our web accessibility and social media professor. And Adam Spencer is the owner of AbleDocs. And am I forgetting anyone? I think that's everyone. Yeah. Okay, this is a very casual evening, so I just really hope to answer all of your questions. So this is a really great picture that Kayla took the other night after they finished their capstone showcase. I think they were very relieved to have it done, and yet a little sad to be finished the program as well. So I thought it would be a nice kind of tribute to include that of them. They had the unfortunate occurrence of having to complete their studies with COVID-19 and moving from a blended learning environment to a fully online learning environment and not being able to come together to say goodbye. But they did a fantastic job, and I know that we will be able to get together and celebrate their graduation soon. For the 2020-2021 Accessible Media Production cohort, we are going to move to a fully online platform. So traditionally, we meet on Tuesdays and Thursday evenings from 5 to 9 in person. We still plan on meeting in person, but we're going to do it in a synchronized environment through Zoom. So the same platform we're using now, and we will have it live captioned and any other accommodations that students may require to ensure that we're meeting your academic needs. The classes will be a combination of synchronous and asynchronous delivery, and each professor will have that discussion with the class depending on the topic that is being taught. One synchronous hour, I've selected Mondays this week from 12 to 1. It'll be optional and will be recorded, but because I won't have the opportunity to see you in person, I really wanted an opportunity to sit down once a week and talk to you about your capstone course. So that's usually an independent study course, but I really wanted to give the opportunity for this cohort to come together and to really talk through their capstone projects. I think that's part of the feedback I received from this existing cohort, and I think that that will be beneficial. It will also go into the second semester where you will be taking the entrepreneur and entrepreneurship course, and that way you will have the opportunity to meet industry professionals. There is about 12 asynchronous hours throughout the week that you will receive content. So in total, it's about a 20-hour academic commitment. It is a full-time program, and I think everybody here that's currently gone through it will tell you that it is a time-intensive program, that it's quite heavy. The way that the program is set up is that in semester 1, you take disability legislation, diversity perspectives, accessible document creation, captioning and description, inclusive writing and communication. And each of those courses are taken one at a time. So we are a sequential delivery. So for 3 weeks, you would take disability legislation, and then the next 3 weeks, you would take diversity perspectives, and so forth. The exception to that is the capstone course that runs sequentially. So it runs at the same time, consecutively, runs at the same time as the other courses, and each of the classes helps to build your capstone project. So for example, in your capstone, you work with an industry partner who identifies a problem. And then in your disability legislation class, it would help you to research what that industry partner needs to meet in order to be compliant with the legislation in their area. So if you're in Ontario, then you'll look at the legislation specific to that province. But if you're outside of Ontario, then you'll look at your legislation specific to your home or the home of the industry partner. In semester 2, it's again a 3-week setup, so with a few exceptions. So the course that runs consecutively is the Intra, and Accessibility course. And then each of the following courses are a little bit shorter or a little bit longer, depending on how much content we needed to put in. So Accessible PDFs is 2.5 weeks. The Assistive Technology and Accessibility course is 3 weeks. The Web Content and Social Media Accessibility, this will be the first time that we've combined these classes, but we've made it 5 weeks in total. And then the Capstone 2 course is another 5 weeks as you wrap up the program. So I thought it would be easier if we took a look at what the schedule actually looks like. So can you see that new schedule? Yeah, great. So I've color-coded each of the classes. So on the left-hand side, you will see the blue and it extends throughout the full week or the full calendar months. And that is the capstone course. So it's an independent study. And I've selected Mondays from 12 to 1, but that is negotiable, just as an opportunity for us to come together to talk about what everybody's doing on their capstone course. And then on the right-hand side in the pink or salmon color, you'll see the disability legislation class, and that'll be with me. And it'll run from September 8th to September 24th. And then starting September 29th to October 15th, it's the diversity perspectives class. And then October 20th to November 5th, it's the accessible content creation with Karen McCall. November 10th to November 26th, it's the captioning and description with Rob Harvey. And December 1st to December 17th, it's inclusive writing and communication with me. And then we go into the second semester. So I can share that with you if you have any, if you'd like to have it in advance. Okay. One of the biggest portions of our program that really helps, I think, to solidify the students' learning is the culmination of their capstone project. This is where they are able to demonstrate their learning and apply it to a real life industry partner. So we practice evidence-based applied research. So each student works with an industry partner. On the right, you can see the icons of a variety of different industry partners that we've partnered with throughout the years. So today we have students that have worked on the Royal Ontario Museum project, A Life Worth Living, Top Hat, Sheridan College, their logo's not on here, the Pop Shop, and Mohawk College, I think, and Pearson Publishing, and the Real Abilities Film Festival as well. So that's just a few of the industry partners the students have worked with. Industry partners, they approach me all the time asking if students can work on projects, and I never make them any promises. What I do is I pitch the industry idea to the students, and if somebody's interested in that, they can take it on. Otherwise, we can work together to find an industry that you're interested in, or you can work with your own industry partner if you're employed at that time. So you have options on who the industry partner is. Typically, it's one student per industry, but I'm open if somebody wants to do it as a collaborative project with another student as well. So together, the student and their industry partner identify an accessibility challenge. The student completes evidence-based research by identifying the barriers and then proposing a solution. They complete applied research by putting their knowledge into practice to develop an accessible media final product that they then show by making a presentation commitment at the end of the academic term. So the students here today, many of them presented on Tuesday to approximately 68 industry members came to see their presentations in this virtual environment. So it's a really great opportunity for the students, and I think that I will let them speak to that opportunity right now. So that I kept it fairly short because I really do think the value is in hearing from the students and the other faculty members. So I thought maybe we could start by seeing if anybody had any pressing questions that they would like answered, and if I didn't address something that maybe you found that you were, really wanting to know. So I'm going to kind of scroll back. Let's see. Okay. No questions I didn't miss. So does anybody have a question? You can unmute yourself if you'd like to ask the question.
Hello. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Abir. You can go ahead.
Thank you so much. It was very informative. I look forward to hearing from your recent graduates to know more about their project. My question is, you said that we have to partner with the industry, and at the end of the project, we have to produce a project and solution, right? So I was just thinking, my concern was, would we be provided with the tools technology wise, so that we are able to produce something?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll let the students address that. Maybe I'll start with Allison, and Allison can speak to her industry project.
Hi, Abir. So my industry project had to do with creating an online module or course to teach other faculty at the college, at Sheridan College, how to create an accessible course. And throughout the entire AMP program at Mohawk, you're introduced to every single technology you could imagine needing to create accessible documents or accessible products like podcasts or described video or integrated described video. You're introduced to all of that in the program, and they give you access to that throughout the program so that you can apply your learning towards your projects.
Fantastic. Thank you, Allison.
Awesome. Even if you don't have any background, like, even how to create a PDF. I mean, I can do that, but, there's so many things. You need to have a license and all those things. And, you want to know, but it's hard to Google everything. So it's good to know that you are provided hands-on experience and all the technology that is needed for this project.
Yeah, I think, does any of the other students want to talk about maybe not having really strong technical skills and then coming into the program? Or would you all say that you were really strong technically? Evelyn, you want to have a go at that?
Yeah, Abir, I was kind of a little bit worried at the beginning of this program about the technology aspects. And it turned out to be one of my top 20 favorite things about the program. It was nice to know that you were taught how to use it. You were given documentation about what to do. You had practice time. It just became one of the most fun aspects of the course.
Thank you, Evelyn.
Can I just say something, Jennifer? I'm
Yeah.
actually really jealous that everyone gets to take this program online, because when we took it in class, we were restricted to a 4-hour window to learn the technology and then apply it. So now you'll have the opportunity, I'm imagining, to have some type of video introduction to the software, and then you can rewatch those videos as many times as you need to then learn how to apply all of that, all of those new skills. So I'm very excited for anyone who's taking it online.
Thank you, Allison. Ellen had a good question. Ellen is a graduate from 2 years ago now. And Ellen's question was, do you want to speak to what technology is required? And that's probably a really good thing to address. At this point in time, what we're asking students to have is technology that will run Adobe Acrobat Pro or the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, and able to download the newest version of Microsoft. Now, at this point in time, both of those programs will be provided by the college. 100% sure about the Microsoft Office suite. I am not 100% sure about the Adobe Creative Cloud, so there might be that expense at this time, which is a $20 a month subscription. So that's the only thing I'm not sure about, but it is, if you do have to pay for that, it is the only thing you will have to pay for. We don't have any required textbooks or any additional software. Rob, did you want to speak to the captioning requirements?
Just have to unmute myself. Okay. We've been, up until this point, we've been working with some fairly low-cost captioning type solutions, because I wanted students to be able to leave the program and still have access to, well, at least be able to have something within affordability reach, or to make the case to their employers or future employers that this is not going to be very expensive in order to carry it out. However, we've had such good success with a program that we've actually originally built. It was built back in University of Toronto, amongst other places, and we're revising it to a second version. And that's going to be incorporated in the course because the students have really quite enjoyed using it. And that's going to be freely accessible to you throughout the program and after as well.
Great, thank you, Rob. We have another question from Elaine. Elaine asks, hi everyone, how did the grads find balancing full-time work with coursework while in the program? That's a really great question. Ellen said that she would like to take a stab at that, and then I can let some of the new grads also. One of the things that we really tried to do with the program was make it an executive delivery so that individuals who are working could also take the program. So Ellen, did you want to have a go at that question?
Absolutely. So I was part of the program when we did have to attend the evening classes on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. And I was also working full-time during the day. And then I also have 2 small children. So I can definitely say that it was a bit of a juggling act, but I mean, what it comes down to is you just do it. I always found the time. I found that the teachers were always very understanding that if you had to reach out and say, hey, something's come up, I'm not going to be able to complete something on time, they were always willing to work with you to make sure that the work was done within a reasonable time period. But yeah, it's doable. All I can say is it's doable. And it's worth it because what we learned is something that I've found over the past 2 years has been invaluable in my work and everything I do.
Thanks, Ellen. Kayla, did you want to maybe talk about that too? Because you had started working part-time to take the program, but then you ended up taking on more work than you thought you were going to.
Yeah, so I started working just half-time, and then I ended up working about 7 hours a day, but then also driving from Kitchener to class. And I agree, it was busy, but we managed, and also it's a really accommodating program. So I've also experienced taking university courses while working full-time, and that was a different experience, of like a much less personal experience, and it didn't feel as accommodating. So as much as it felt really busy, it still was a great experience, and it was still very accommodating, and we knew that we were going to be able to manage.
So all of our students worked this semester. I'm just thinking not all worked full-time, but everybody worked while in school. Did anybody else want to address that question, or shall we go on to the next one? Okay, maybe we'll go on.
Jennifer. Hi.
Oh, sure, Jeanette,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just turn on my video for a second so they can see a face, if that's gonna work. I don't know. Can you see me actually?
Yeah.
I can't see what I'm doing here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that it does at times feel like so overwhelming. You think like there's no way I'm gonna be able to manage this. But those are fleeting times. And then at the end, when you realize that some of the materials or assignments that you're working on can actually be incorporated into your capstone project or, modified and incorporated, it really helps you at the end as well.
Great, thank you. Heather asks, when are assignments projects due? For example, every Sunday, or is it different for each course? I'll let you guys answer because I only know from my classes. So, Patty, do you want to take that one?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I was typing in the chat. Busted, sorry.
Pay attention.
Pay attention.
No, when are assignments projects due? For example, every Sunday, or is it different for each course?
Oh, it was different for each course. And like others have alluded to, our instructors were amazing. They really were so supportive in being flexible in the due dates and being available if we had questions. Jennifer with her one-on-one coaching sessions, propping up sessions, everybody was just incredible. Deadlines really were a non-issue for I think a lot of us. And also being able to just chat and collaborate with our classmates when we were struggling. There were a couple of courses in particular that I'm thinking of where it was great to just sit down with each other and work through them as a group, even though we were handing them in individually. So it's
sometimes even when you were remotely.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So Beth asks, do you know if this course will be offered again as a professional development offer for Mohawk employees? So both Jeanette and Karen are Mohawk employees, so I'm just looking to see who else is here, and Ellen. And at this point in time, I understand that the offer won't be extended for the full-time program, but it will be offered through continuing education. So I would recommend that you follow up with Kelsey. Oh, I know Kelsey's last name. Beth, I'm gonna have to look it up and let you know, okay? If you could email me that, I could send you, I know her last name. I'll send it to you, okay? Okay, Ellen says, your classmates become family very quickly. Everybody agrees with that. Yes, thank you, Beth. Good. Is there any other questions? Are you using the Ontario Learn platform? That's a great question. Thank you, Elaine. So Mohawk College has just gone through a switch. We were using the Desire to Learn Brightspace LMS, Learning Management System, and we are now using Canvas. So we're calling it My Canvas, and it's a new platform. It has a stronger mobile accessibility, and it's able to, I think, probably adapt and be a little more robust for individuals who are using their mobile device to access their courses. We will have the My Canvas platform as well as Zoom, and we will be using office.com apps. So looking at the stream and Word, PowerPoint, and all of that. But we will provide you with those links and support right from the very beginning. What other softwares do we use other than Acrobat, PDF, and Office? Anybody want to chat about that?
We may be using Adobe Premiere as well, which is part of the cloud suite.
Okay.
Which is a video editing software.
Yeah, it's part of the Adobe Acrobat or Adobe Creative Cloud Suite. Yeah.
And we also get introduced to a variety of free apps or other programs that are online that we can use for various assignments and so on. I'm just thinking about one of the courses where we had to actually do an evaluation of accessibility for the apps and things. Yeah, so not everything costs.
Yeah, one of the things in the accessibility field is the important tenet that accessibility needs to be accessible. And so we really try to make the work that we do fully accessible and available, but more importantly, usable for everybody. And that means no cost as much as we possibly can. So you will be introduced to a lot of different programs and supports, but especially in your web class when you do a lot of the auditing, but there's a lot of free software that you're introduced to. Yeah, readily readability tools online. Yep. So lots of different things that you'll be introduced to. Is there any other questions? I know there's so much information and I don't want to overwhelm you, so I'm always happy to have a one-on-one conversation if you think of anything afterwards. But maybe we could chat a little bit, and maybe some of the students can participate in this as well, is about the work integrated learning opportunities or the experiential learning opportunities that you may have had in the program. Karen, maybe you could talk a little bit about the Accessibility Awareness Day that you got to participate in. You're on mute.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
I don't know if I have a lot to say. I know that it was Accessibility Awareness Day that was at Mohawk College. And Evelyn and I participated in that. So we set up a booth talking about the program to potential students. And there were a lot of the community partners that were in the college as well that set up areas so that students and anybody actually within the college can come and just learn what they could from each other and from each of the booths set up. Is that?
Sure, yeah, and you've had lots of opportunities to do webinars and conferences and that as
No,
well.
for sure. There's endless number of, right now anyway, online webinars and conferences that are extremely helpful and add to enhance your learning that you're taking within the course, and provides new information, and it's excellent networking to connect yourself to other people that are in the field as well. So it's a great opportunity that way.
Great, thank you. And does anybody, Evelyn, did you want to speak to the A11Y HAM event that you got to participate in?
There we go. Yeah, the one where we did the persona testing. Yeah, that was a really great event. The A11Y HAM is a community of practice that we all got involved in. And for that particular event, we did persona testing, and personas are, oh, there was a really great definition that Kayla had in her presentation yesterday. It was basically, it's you design, you user test for accessibility as a person with a disability, and you create that profile. And so we went to this event, and we all had different technologies, items that were to do with disabilities, and we had people join us at our table after the portion where we presented our persona. And it was really interesting because people were able to come to the table and learn about new technologies and assistive devices and experience their own website sometimes as a person with a disability. So it really let us see the empathy component of accessibility. And that was one of the most invaluable things in this whole program, was actually being able to see inclusion through others' eyes, those with disabilities.
And so one of the things that we're able to do for the A11Y group, and A11Y is accessibility, starts with A, ends with Y, and there's 11 letters in between, is that we've been able to move that to a virtual environment. So students will be able to participate in that environment virtually. Additionally, we were able to work through a few other challenges when we moved to a remote learning, is that we even did a virtual tour of Accessible Media Inc., or AMI. So the students got to meet some of the people that work at AMI and tour their facilities virtually. And moving forward, we'll even be able to do an end user testing day through a virtual environment where you'll meet end users, individuals that use assistive technology to interact online in a virtual environment. So you'll be connected with them and be able to test out your tools or who you're working with, your partner, your industry partner's platform. So it might be software, it might be a website, it depends on who you're working with, but we'll be able to work with end users to test out that environment. And it is one of the more valuable, I think, experiences that our students get. So Kayla was able to give the definition: fictional user profiles of individuals with disabilities used to test accessibility and test compatibility with assistive technology for what is a persona. Nice job. Okay, so wait, I have to scroll up. There's a few more here. So Matthew has a question. Matthew, did you want to ask your question?
Yeah. For students that have accommodations, will they be able to get that have a reduced course load plan? Will they be able to get a reduced course load plan?
Yeah. So For students that want to take the program part-time or have a reduced course load because of an academic accommodation, they can do that. So they would register as a full-time student. If they just wanted to take the program part-time, then they would reduce their courses down to a part-time status, and I would support them with that. For students who require an academic accommodation to have a reduced course load, we would work with Accessible Learning Services to reduce that course load, just keeping in mind their funding with OSAP and keeping them at a 40% course load.
That's amazing.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So when is Mohawk Fall schedule being released to register for the program? So you can apply to the program now, and then in August, you will select your courses after you've submitted your down payment. It's kind of like paying for your seat in the program. And well, you don't really get to select any options. You just select the program. So everybody will be in the same program. Let's see. Karen says this program is amazing. It changed me as a person, very thought-provoking. Thank you, Karen. Hi, Elaine, you should be able to apply for the MP program now through ontariocolleges.ca, and Patty would know as she works for Ontario Colleges. What should someone who's never taken an online course expect from our classes? As a person with a learning disability, I'm not sure how I will be able to handle a non-traditional classroom setting. So I think it'll be different for every professor, but maybe I'll pass it over to Leanne and she can chat a little bit about how she's setting up her course, and then Rob and I can maybe provide that as well.
I think that the challenge with going online fully, I think it's a challenge for many people in many different ways, but the goal really is to support you as you move through the course. So there will be readings online. There will also be videos. There will be some parts where you're asked to interact with other students in the course, but we'll find ways to make that work for people who are in the course. So if you decide, which I hope you do, to take the program, we would make sure that we have a conversation and find ways to make it work. When we first went online, I have to tell you, my work was really busy and I just found myself exhausted with being online all the time. So I think part of it is finding those ways in which you can do the coursework that's meaningful for you, but also just doesn't drain you of energy. So we will find ways to make it work. It's fun for me because people in the class, I'm sorry, that's my cat's tail. When we do it face to face, there was lots of interaction and discussion. So for me, it's fun. It's a fun challenge to think about how we'll do that online. So sometimes it might be messy and it might not work very well, but we'll find our way through. But don't hesitate to contact me if you have more specific concerns or questions. I don't know, was that
this is, yeah, it was very, I think. So for me, I just wanted to mention that by gist of this being offered at a distance for the first time, it really opens up the program to those people who are at a distance from Mohawk College. The public transportation, the parking, the weather, having to make your way through that. That's time that you can use better in your lives, I think. And I think this will allow more flexibility for you.
Yeah, so I think Evelyn pointed out something that I was going to talk about, and that is that the courses are designed with universal design for learning and universal design in mind, and that it is a very individualized program. The assignments give you lots of options to work at a pace and at an area of interest that most or best works for you. So for one assignment, you may be able to do a video or a podcast. You may choose to write a paper. So there's lots of different variable opportunities for students to demonstrate their knowledge. And we try to provide that the same with instruction, that there's multiple opportunities to gain the same information in multiple formats. So we do work very hard to ensure that we're walking our talk. And so hopefully you will find that as well. Do any of the students want to talk about that? About moving online? I know all of your courses weren't online, but all of them did have an aspect of online learning. No? Okay.
Jennifer, yeah, I can just share that I felt there was a really good balance between synchronous and asynchronous learning. So although we were learning on our own, some of the time we always had a chance to connect with our professors. I think it was usually twice a week where we would have a virtual chat like this and you could ask questions or get clarification. So you feel supported through the entire process. Even if it's not virtual chat, if your preferred method is email, I don't think I ever went even more than a few hours where I emailed a professor for help and they got back to me. So there's really great communication throughout our entire 9 months in the program, 10 months, I don't know.
I know, it went on a little longer. One of the questions is, will we be going on campus for our classes post-COVID? And the answer to that is no, we won't. If we start on our program online, we will complete it online, as we anticipate that we may have participants coming from a much further distance and who may not be able to get to Mohawk. That being said, I am always happy to meet students on campus if I'm able to get back on campus. I think probably all of the students here can speak to that I do tend to have a lot of one-on-one meetings. I'm happy to meet off campus as well. Evelyn and I had a standing date at Tim Hortons. And so that's something that we can do. I'm happy to work with you in an environment that works best for your learning. Let's see. Elaine says that she's going to head over tonight to register. Wonderful, Elaine. We would love to have you in the program. Leanne says, thanks for mentioning that, Evelyn. With regards to the UDL, we work to design the courses to support more learners more of the time. And Leanne I really didn't give them the opportunity to introduce themselves, but Leanne is very knowledgeable in universal design and differentiated instruction as she works full-time for Brock University in their Center for, oh wait, it has a great name. It's not Center for Teaching and Learning. It is Center for Pedagogical Innovation.
Which is way too much pressure. Center for Teaching and Learning. I don't feel very innovative much of the time, but I have to tell you, often the assignments in diversity perspectives really are. And I really say this with most genuine, heartfelt thanks. I really do learn a lot from it.
Yeah, I think some of Leanne and I have chatted a little bit that we would love to do a presentation on universally designed assignments and the assignments that we get from the students. I have had students that have submitted poetry that have brought me to tears. We have some really great artwork that we've received, like just the most creative demonstration of their knowledge. So it's very much a way that you can, share your knowledge with the way that you learn best. Everyone says Leanne's class was amazing. Okay. I think we have gotten to all of the questions. It is 7:48, so we have about 12 minutes more. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to ask? Or Rob, you rock too. There you go. Anybody have anything else they'd like to ask or any other questions or comments? One thing that I did want to say, on Tuesday we had the capstone showcase. If you weren't able to attend okay, you know what? I should have done this. I'm sorry. There you go. If you weren't able to attend the capstone showcase, I'm going to provide you the link as soon as I can move my screen around here. If you've missed it, then I'm going to put this into the chat box. Oh, it disappeared because I moved everything around now. Hold on, I'll find it. I'll put it in the chat box and then you can go and watch it again. It has been recorded. There we go. But please bear with me. It is the Zoom recording. So although I have edited the transcript for accuracy, it's still not the best captioning. So I will edit the video and then caption it and then post it to the website once it's ready. But in the meantime, you can access the Capstone Showcase through this link, and there's the access password. You're very welcome, Beth. Thank you for joining us. Ellen has said, please join us at the next A11Y Ham meetup as well, please. We're one big family, and that is true. So the students, one thing we haven't talked about that I think is really important is what happens after the program. Nobody's asked that. I was really surprised. There's lots of opportunities that we try to engage the students in activities following graduation, and one of those is the A11Y Hamilton Meetup Group, or we call it Ali Ham, where we try to build a community of digital inclusion and accessibility. And so once a month we come together to talk about a topic that is fairly relevant in the industry. So this one coming up on June 28th, I believe, it's the last Thursday of the month, will be a discussion with the CNIB accessibility team, hosted or moderated by Bert Floyd, who is part of the accessibility team with TD Bank. And this was arranged by one of our graduates, Lisa Sims, who now works for the accessibility team at CNIB. So that's one opportunity that our graduates have had. I can say that all of the graduates that wanted to work in the field are working in the field. But many of our graduates, like Allison, is not looking for employment, but they were looking to add to their existing skill set for their current position. But maybe, oh, I did say CNIB, didn't I? Thank you. It's CIBC. Sorry. They're close, aren't they? So the bank, not the Canadian National Institute for the Blind. But does anybody want to speak about where your colleagues or your cohorts have gone on to after they've graduated, or did you want me to do that? Yes, we do have a graduate at CNIB. So Matisse is at CNIB. Some of our graduates have gone on to work in the described video field. So they're writing audio description or described video scripts for television and movies. Some of our graduates are working in the banking industry, at hospitals. Ellen is working for Mohawk College in our marketing department. She's a graphic designer. Trying to think what else. There's lots of other opportunities. I'm just not thinking of them. Able Docs, so document remediation. Am I forgetting anything? And feel free to pipe in here where. No. So we haven't had, I think to date, we have had, including this group, I think we are at 23 graduates. Yeah. So we haven't had a huge amount of people going out and working in the industry yet, but there is lots of opportunities. So no, there isn't any alumni that are working at AMI, but we do work a lot with AMI. So there is opportunities there. Yeah. And Kevin, I can email you the documents from today and happy to share those with you. If you could just send me an email to remind me, that would be fantastic. We will be posting everything on the website, but I'm not sure how quickly it'll get up there. Great, thank you. Anything else as we wrap up our time together this evening? A huge thank you to everybody that came out. and your interest in the accessible media production program. I can't ever guarantee that where this field will go. We're the first program of its kind. We believe in Ontario and possibly even Canada and maybe even North America. But I do think that there's a need, and it's a growing need. And I think with COVID-19 and the need to move fully online, it only amplifies that need. I sit as a member of the Education Standards Development Committee for the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act. And as a committee, we see this growing need for accessible content. And we're even putting into the legislation the need for there to be these positions in the education sector. And I imagine that will carry over into all other fields as well. So thank you. Does anybody want any last comments, remarks? Evelyn, go for it.
Okay, I just wanted to say, I can't say enough about this program. It's, I'm still smiling, and we had to keep, people kept asking, well, what's your favorite part of the program? And it was just every single course that we took. I mean, there was not one single course where I was like, oh, I'm so glad that one's over. No, I just loved every single one. So I just find it's invaluable, and you're going to have such fun and make such amazing connections. I wish I could do it all over again. I really do.
I think it is telling that I have 7 graduates this semester, and 6 of them have taken the time out of their evenings to come to this when they didn't have to by any means.
Jennifer, I just wanted
to hear too, but she's just got something going on.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Patty.
I just wanted to add to Ellen's comment, as throughout the course, during your and my conversations, we would talk about where I thought I might be heading. Even right to this day, I have no idea what my favorite aspect of everything that I learned is. Ideally, it's a combination of everything. We'll see. And I just wanted to say to anybody who's interested in registering for the program, don't panic about it. Just breathe, enjoy every minute of it, work as hard as you need to, make it fit, make it work, whatever you have to do, it is completely and totally worth it, every second of it.
Thank you. Thank you all. I look forward to getting to know you. If you would like to have a one-on-one with me, just send me an email. It's jennifer.jahnke@mohawkcollege.ca, and I will type that in the chat box.
Jen, could I add one thing?
Sure.
Just anybody who gets into this program, apply for the bursary, the scholarship through Mohawk College. It's free money. I was given $1,000, and it wasn't that difficult. I mean, you just fill out some paperwork with financial information. You write a nice little letter, and I was surprised, quite close to the end of second term, I was surprised with an email like, here's $1,000. So never fail to apply for free money.
Good piece of advice. Thank you. All right, I'm going to sign off. It is 7:58. Please enjoy this lovely evening. You can see that Leanne, Rob, and Jeanette was outside as well. Have a good, there she is. See, it is lovely. I'm going to go for a walk myself. Thank you all.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Oh, and
Take
so
care.
nice.